Hi everybody, it's Mark Rude here in rainy Tokyo, Japan. I'm back from Peru, getting settled back in, and I just wanted to give you a little update about my trip to Peru because I think it highlights several of the elements of our Lead Develop Care framework for you. We went to the world-famous Machu Picchu. It's the mountain residence of the Incan king and one of the most famous landscapes in the world. And so we decided to do the first leg of the trip to Machu Picchu, not by train, but by hiking. So we did some research, we got some information. As we learned, not all information in Peru can be always trusted. And so we went to the beginning of the hiking trail and we asked the local people there, how far is it to hike from here to the base of Machu Picchu? And they said, one person said, it's about 2 hours. Another person said, no, it's more like 4 hours. Someone said, no, it's about 3 hours. And we thought, okay, it's 2 p.m. We need to get there by dinner time. But we thought, okay, that's no problem. Whether we get there at 4 or whether we get there at 6, no problem. We begin hiking. 2 hours later, and after getting lost several times, the students were beginning to get frustrated. Where is Machu Picchu? What's happening? Where's the signs along the way? Are we making progress? And we asked some local people, through our very broken Spanish, how far is it to Machu Picchu? And they said, what do you mean? Well, we said, we heard it's about 2 hours. Are we almost there? And they laughed and they said, no, it's 30 kilometers from where you started to Machu Picchu. You have at least another 8-hour hike. We couldn't believe it. It's wintertime in Peru. We have no flashlights. We have very little food and water. And we are already 2 hours from civilization. How are we ever going to accomplish this together? The students, the credibility that we had was eroding very quickly. So we decided, after walking a few hundred more meters, we need to have a meeting. We pulled everyone together and I said, I would like everyone to weigh in on what we should do. We have two choices. One is we could go back. Maybe that's the right choice. Maybe we should go back 2 hours, we can forget this hike, and we'd safely arrive back where we started. If we do that though, we probably will lose our window to go to Machu Picchu. The second choice is we can move ahead. And that means probably another 7 to 9 hours of hiking in the dark. And not only that, we decided we're going to hike along the railroad line. These mountain paths cannot be trusted, there's no signage, and we keep getting lost. We know the train arrives there directly to Machu Picchu, so we're gonna walk along the train line. I didn't know which way it was gonna go. And yet, as we started from the youngest, who's the least talkative, to the older ones who are the most opinionated, everyone said, I wanna move ahead, I wanna move ahead. And so I said, okay, great. And it's interesting, as we set out from that hike, something changed in everyone's motivation. Until then, they were being pulled along by the Navigator staff. After that point, I noticed a principle at work there. When people are given a chance to weigh in, they naturally buy in. And so once people weighed in and shared their opinion on what we should do, they began to take ownership of the decision themselves. They had committed to walk 8 hours through the dark. And so the rest of the trip and of the Machu Picchu hike and the rest of our Peru trip, everyone's attitude drastically changed with respect to us. And their sense of ownership and motivation went way up during the trip. The second principle is the other topic for us this month, and that is manage. We had very limited resources, little water, little food, no flashlights, very little gear, no maps. And how do we manage those limited resources well? Who are the members who are weak hikers? Okay, you three ladies, let's take your backpacks and give it to our strongest hikers so we can have a high average pace. What lighting do we have? No lights. Oh, but everyone has a cell phone. Great. Everyone turn off your cell phone until it's dark, and then we will turn on 1/3 of the cell phones and use the flashlight function until they go out. Then we'll go to the next third and the next third. Through these kind of management things that we came up with together, we were able to hike through the dark and arrive after 8 hours in Machu Picchu at 11:58 p.m., right before midnight. And as we got there, I could just tell everyone, even though it was hard, we called this experience Stand By Me after the movie where they walked along the train line. After this Stand By Me experience, God had really used this to knit our hearts together. I'm sure for you, in your leadership context, you have many similar situations where you're put in a situation where perhaps you made some mistakes, perhaps other people made mistakes, but you find yourself in a very non-optimal situation where you've got to make do with what you're given. You've got to motivate people, and you've got to manage the limited resources you have. Our hope is that this month, through the reading and stretch exercises and videos, that this will stimulate you in how to think about the challenging leadership tasks that you have. Lastly, I want to touch base on the upcoming month's development. I know that everyone has been pushing really hard and faithfully work on your assignments. I want to let you know there's going to be an upcoming season where things are going to slow down for you as far as LDI. During December, we realize that's a very important family time. We'll be focusing on the topic of modeling, and only one topic, and we've decided to lower the content of our input and stretch activities during this month to allow you to have more extended time with your family. Secondly, in January, as you know, we have our second gathering. The good news is after our second gathering, there's no developmental plan for the rest of the month. So you'll only have one assignment the rest of the month, and that is to look back on Module 1 and to take some time to consolidate and boil down some of the key lessons that you learned from Module 1, and then to either write a short paper or do a short video presentation during that time. So December and January, there's a little bit of a break coming, so I just encourage you to look forward to that and continue to faithfully push forward in your studies and in your stretch exercises. As always, it's great to work with all of you. I'm loving this first class of LDI, where I'm learning a ton as I go. I'll see you next time.